Yes, and joining us now, Sophia Manley, Protect and Connect at Mississippi State University. Sophia, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit. You are an extension associate in the School of Human Sciences at Mississippi State University. You work on trauma-informed parenting and professional strategies. So what does all that mean?
Yes, so I work with the university on a grant funded by MDHS, and we provide free parenting resources and toolkits to families in the state. So we've been going for about 3 years now, and we've served about 2,000 families throughout the state. And our participants, they get to sign up for our toolkit, and they receive these toolkits directly to their doorstep. So they have a total of 5 that they get. And it's a bunch of different parenting resources and activities that they can do with their children. A huge goal of ours is for families to just connect back together and to grow their relationships. And we see a lot of stigma with getting parenting resources to families, and that, being a parent is the hardest job that anyone's probably going to have to do. And there's not a manual for that. And so we want to make sure that families are getting proper resources and activities that they can do with their children to help them grow happy and healthy and all of that.
How'd you get interested in this line of work?
So I originally started actually here at Sally Kate. I used to, I interned here and I worked here for a while, but I'm a graduate of Mississippi State University through the Human Development and Family Sciences program. And one of the professors, Dr. Staten, this is her project, the TIPS project that she works on. And as a grad student, I worked kind of with her through classes and stuff, and she had mentioned that they had a spot opening. So that's how I kind of got involved, was just being involved in the school and having connections through here as well.
So you talked about a toolkit. Can you describe for us what that includes?
Yes. So we actually send 5 toolkits. The first one is a developmental one, so the parents can choose different ages. So we've got an infant, a toddler, a school age, and a teen toolkit. For example, for the infant toolkit, we have a little onesie that they get that says this side up, and on the back it says flip me over, because we want to practice safe sleep with infants. So with infants, when they are going to sleep, they shouldn't be sleeping on their stomach because they don't have the muscles in their neck to be able to lift their head if something were to block their nose or their mouth to breathe. So it's important that for safe sleep that children sleep on their back. So we gave them a little onesie that they can wear to remind them to always have them sleep on their back. We give them teething tools, and then different resources. So they get some pamphlets that talk about where your child should be growing developmentally, different milestones they should be hitting, and just other information about your child at that age. And then we give them books as well. So for infants, they get the indestructible books because kids like to play with things, and so we want them to have a book that doesn't rip or fall apart. And yeah, so we get each of those toolkits has different developmentally appropriate tools in them. And then we also have a positive guidance, so looking at discipline and how to do that positively with a child. And then we do an emotion regulation, so we're looking at self-care, because a lot of times self-care for children and adults get put on the back burner. So how they can take care of themselves so they can take care of their family better. Some emotion regulation stuff. So, if they're super stressed out, what can they do to bring them back to neutral and to be good to go? We have a family resource management one, which is our 4th toolkit, and that looks at how to budget your time, how to budget your resources, your money. So sometimes parents struggle with how do we balance 800 different extracurricular activities. So we gave them some tools in order to do that. We gave them a binder that has stuff for saving, spending, and giving your money. And then our final one is our family communication toolkit, and that's all about how we communicate with each other as a family. So we have one directed just for the parents, and then another little set of conversation cards that are for the kids and the parents to ask each other questions to really get them talking and getting to know each other and getting to the hard stuff.
How do you get connected to these families?
Yes, so we have a website that people can go to sign up. We also have flyers kind of all over. A lot of times they're at CPS offices. We have some flyers here, actually. And we do some events around town. So upcoming, we've got a resource fair that will be at the W in Columbus and in Tupelo with their canopy services over there. So we try and get to the families through our flyers or at these different events that they might be at. But if they can't find a flyer, we do have a website, and it's just TIPS, TIPPS.extension.msu.com. And so it's for them that they can, the website pulls up and they can go and click on the sign up here, and all of the information to sign up for our free resources are there.
So do you perform any sort of follow-up analysis to measure the results?
Absolutely. So actually, after every toolkit, we give families about 2 weeks to, really get into their toolkits and have a chance to use them. And then we actually have caseworkers that are assigned to these families, and they will reach out, by text, email, or call, just to check in to see if there's anything that they really liked or disliked about the toolkit. And we also help them if a family is looking for resources that are available in the state, how we can connect them with that. And then we do have a survey for them to complete as well. And then they'll move on to their next toolkit.
So we understand you have a certificate in trauma-informed child advocacy. Tell us what that means exactly.
Yes. So actually that is through Mississippi State University that I have that. So I think later today you'll hear from Miss Faison, who is leading those courses through the university. But it's several courses that we have that help us really look at things through a trauma perspective, how to be trauma-informed. So you learn a lot about things that Sally Kate does and other CACs in the state, how to help a child who is a victim of abuse, and learning the signs that you can look at. So it really helps, in any everyday settings to look at, being really trauma-informed and knowing what you're looking at.
How big a problem is this in our state?
It's a problem across the nation. I don't have an exact number for you, but it is, it's a problem, and, I think everyone should be aware that child abuse happens, and, happens down the street, and you just might not be aware. So being, really, that's why I think this month is great, that we're bringing awareness to this problem so that we can, reach children before it gets to a certain point.
Tell us about the relationship with Sally Kate Winters.
So I was an intern here. I worked here for a couple years as well as their intake coordinator, and I was a victim advocate and a forensic interviewer for a little bit. So we like to work with Sally Kate in, having them have our flyers up so that they can reach families here, and then just working with them with the trauma-informed child advocacy certificate. We have students that come here for their internship placement. We do get to do tours here with the students so that they can see a real-life child advocacy center. So yeah, we kind of work with them a lot.
How important is the work Sally Kate Winters does, especially in this community, in this area?
Oh, it's incredible what they accomplish here. We're being able to see families and get them the resources they need, help them, receive justice. And it's incredible seeing how much, even small interactions, only meeting a family once potentially, how much of an impact Sally Kate can have on them.
Is the goal to get these families united and just a stable, thriving environment for the children?
Absolutely. That's, the goal with CPS as well, is, making sure that our children are safe and that families have the resources to take care of them the best that they can. The goal is always to make sure that these families are strong and healthy.
I've talked to the CPS folks quite a bit. One of the challenges they have constantly is just limited resources for the workload. Mm-hmm. Is there something we can do to kind of improve on that situation? Do we just need more workers interested in the field? And I guess more importantly, how do we sort of start reducing these kinds of problems mm-hmm. in society?
So a lot of, especially with what TIPS does, what we try and do is prevention work. So that was kind of the goal of our toolkits is, we're getting these families these resources ahead of time so that hopefully that they can handle things along the line. And as their children grow up and they're kind of more aware of, how to parent. But as for, turnover is prevalent in a lot of jobs, especially nowadays.
Stressful.
Yes.
Low pay and stressful.
Absolutely. And so I think there's a lot we can do. I don't know if I could necessarily pinpoint it down, but yeah, there's always making sure that people have access to resources. I think that's a big thing is there's resources out there that can help families, but we might not know about them. We might not have easy access to them. So trying to find that to make sure that that's accessible to families and workers as well.
Something I regularly point out as well is that it's 724, 365 essentially mm-hmm. situation that Absolutely. CPS has to be available and on mm-hmm. call to receive any sort of report anytime, day and night, any day of the year.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Sophia, thanks so much for coming on, and thanks so much for the important work you do. We appreciate
Absolutely.
it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Folks, we're taking a break right here. The Element Well Studio relocated to West Point, Mississippi at Sally Kate Winters Family Services. Also want to